I want to tell you something that a former Google design ethicist said publicly, on record, in front of a camera.
He said, and I am paraphrasing only slightly, that a handful of people working in a few office buildings in San Francisco get to decide what 1 billion people think about before they go to sleep at night.
His name is Tristan Harris. He worked inside the machine, and when he left, he couldn't stay quiet about what he had seen. Here is what he had seen. The apps on your phone were not designed by engineers trying to build useful tools. They were designed by teams of behavioral psychologists, neuroscientists, and persuasion architects whose singular job was to answer one question: how do we make it as difficult as possible for a human being to stop using this? They studied casino psychology, operant conditioning, the neuroscience of reward and craving. They ran thousands of A/B tests on hundreds of millions of users, adjusting colors, sounds, timing, layout, until they found the precise configuration that made the human brain least able to resist. And then they shipped it to you for free and called it a social network. The slot machine was invented in 1895. It took society nearly a century to understand what it was doing to people, to regulate it, restrict it, confine it to designated buildings that adults had to physically choose to enter. The smartphone app is a slot machine you invited into your bedroom, your bathroom, the dinner table, the last 5 minutes before your children fall asleep. You didn't know that when you downloaded it. Neither did I, but we know it now. And knowing it changes the question from how do I use this app better to something more uncomfortable. How long am I going to keep letting it use me? Here are 7 apps that are almost certainly on your phone right now. I'm not going to tell you to delete them, though you might decide to after this. I'm going to tell you exactly what psychological mechanism each one is deploying against you, with the research behind it, because you cannot protect something you haven't been told is under attack. Your attention is under attack. Let's talk about how. Let's begin. Instagram is, at its core, an envy machine. Not by accident, by design. The feed is curated to show you the best moments of other people's lives, their holidays, their bodies, their relationships, their homes, in an endless, unbroken stream. The algorithm doesn't show you average, it shows you exceptional, always, because exceptional triggers comparison, and comparison triggers the emotional response, inadequacy, aspiration, longing that keeps you scrolling. The psychologist Leon Festinger called this social comparison theory. Humans are wired to evaluate themselves relative to others. For most of human history, that comparison was limited to the small community around you, your village, your street, your workplace. You compared yourself to maybe 100 people. Instagram gives you access to the highlight reels of 1 billion people simultaneously every time you open it. The result is a comparison load the human brain was never designed to carry, a chronic, low-level sense that your life is insufficient, that you are behind, that everyone else has figured something out that you haven't. This feeling is not a reflection of your life. It is a product Instagram sells to advertisers. You are not the user. You are the dissatisfied consumer they are manufacturing. TikTok is the most sophisticated attention capture machine ever built. And I say that not as hyperbole, but as a precise technical description of what it is. Its recommendation algorithm, trained on more behavioral data than any system in history, can predict within the first few seconds of a video whether you will watch to the end. It adjusts in real time, learning your specific psychological profile, your triggers, your preferences, your emotional vulnerabilities, and optimizes the feed accordingly. Within 20 minutes of opening TikTok for the first time, the algorithm knows more about what captures your attention than you do. But here is the mechanism that makes it truly insidious. The videos are short, 7 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and that brevity feels harmless, like you're not really committing to anything. You're just watching one more, just one more, just one more. Neuroscientists call this the unit bias, our tendency to treat each discrete unit of consumption as a natural stopping point, and then immediately begin the next one. TikTok engineered its entire format around this bias. The shortness is not a feature, it is the trap. The app that feels like it's giving you tiny pieces of your time is actually consuming it in its entirety, one 15-second video at a time. YouTube is the app most people feel guiltiest defending. Because unlike Instagram or TikTok, YouTube contains genuinely valuable content. Documentaries, lectures, tutorials, things that teach you something real. And that legitimacy is precisely what makes it so effective at stealing your time. The autoplay function, the video that begins playing automatically the moment yours ends, was designed around a single psychological principle, the path of least resistance. Stopping requires an action. Continuing requires nothing. And in the battle between action and inaction wins almost every time. Research from Google, YouTube's parent company, found that autoplay increases watch time by an enormous margin. Not because the next video is better, but because stopping is harder than continuing. And the recommendation algorithm compounds this. It doesn't optimize for what is good for you. It optimizes for what will keep you watching, which means it will consistently recommend content that is slightly more extreme, slightly more emotionally provocative, slightly more engaging than what you just watched. You open YouTube to learn how to cook pasta. 90 minutes later, you are watching a documentary about something you have never thought about before and didn't know you were interested in. The platform didn't hijack your evening. It just made stopping feel harder than staying every single time. Twitter is an outrage engine, not because the people on it are uniquely angry, though many are, but because outrage is the emotion the platform's architecture is most effective at producing and amplifying. The psychologist William Brady at New York University has spent years studying the spread of emotion on social media. His research found that each moral or emotional word added to a tweet increases its retweet rate by approximately 20%. The algorithm rewards provocation. It promotes content that generates strong reactions, and the strongest reactions, the ones most likely to make you respond, share, return, are not joy or curiosity. They are anger, indignation, the particular heat of feeling that someone somewhere is wrong. The result is a platform that presents itself as a place for news and conversation and functions as a daily 2-minute hate that can last several hours. You scroll into it looking to stay informed and emerge 40 minutes later with elevated cortisol, a vague sense of dread, and a collection of opinions about events you cannot influence, involving people you will never meet. Twitter does not make you more informed. It makes you more reactive, and a reactive person is an engaged person, and an engaged person is a monetized person. Email deserves to be on this list, and I suspect it's the one you least expected. Email feels like work. It feels productive. It feels like the responsible adult version of screen time. And because it feels that way, most of us check it constantly, in the morning before we've had a thought of our own, in the evening when we should be present with the people we love, in the gaps between every other activity throughout the day. The average knowledge worker checks their email 74 times per day. But here is what that constant checking is actually doing. Each time you open email, your brain enters a state of task switching. It disengages from whatever it was doing and prepares to process new information, respond to demands, manage expectations. And the cognitive cost of that switch, what researchers call the switching cost,
is far higher than most people realize.
Studies at the University of California, Irvine found that after an interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to return to a state of full focus on the original task. So when you check your email 12 times in a morning, you are not being productive. You are spending your entire morning in a state of perpetual recovery from self-inflicted interruption. Email is not stealing your time. It is stealing your depth, and that is a more serious theft.
The News app is the app that convinced you it was a civic duty. Staying informed, it told you, is the responsible thing to do. A good citizen reads the news. A thoughtful person knows what is happening in the world, and so you check it in the morning, at lunch, when you're waiting for something, when you feel the faint anxiety of not knowing what is happening somewhere.
But here is what the news has become, and what it has always been optimized for. Not information, but attention. The headline is not written to inform you. It is written to make you feel that you cannot afford not to click it. Alarming, urgent, incomplete enough to require the full article. The psychologist Steven Pinker has written extensively about what he calls the availability heuristic, our tendency to judge the frequency and severity of events by how easily examples come to mind. News apps flood your mind with the worst things happening in the world, every hour of every day, until your perception of reality is fundamentally distorted. The world, by almost every measurable metric, is safer and more stable than at any point in human history. And yet, most heavy news consumers report feeling that things are getting worse, rapidly, irreversibly. That feeling is not information. It is a side effect of a product designed to keep you anxious enough to keep coming back. This is the hardest one, because messaging apps are the only apps on this list that connect you to people you actually love. And that is exactly what makes them so difficult to put boundaries around. The mechanism is not the messages themselves. It is the notification, the small red circle, the preview that appears at the top of your screen, the knowledge that someone, somewhere has sent you something and is waiting, or might be waiting, for a response. This is the open loop we talked about in the last video, the unresolved situation the mind returns to compulsively. Messaging apps are open loop generators. Every conversation is a loop that could be reopened at any moment by anyone without warning, and the social pressure compounds the psychological one. We have collectively agreed, without discussing it, without choosing it, that the appropriate response time for a message is somewhere between immediately and very soon. To take longer feels like a statement, like coldness, like you don't care. This agreement was not made in our interest. It was made in the interest of the platform, which benefits from every message sent and every compulsive check to see if a reply has arrived. The people you love deserve your attention, but they deserve it given freely from a self that is present, not extracted from you by a notification architecture designed to make genuine rest impossible. I want to be clear about something before we end. I am not telling you these apps are evil. I am telling you they are indifferent to your well-being in a way that is very easy to mistake for helpfulness. They were built to capture attention, to retain it, to monetize it, and they are extraordinarily good at what they were built to do. That is not a moral failing. It is an engineering achievement, but it is an engineering achievement that is being applied to the hours of your life without your full understanding or consent. The question is not whether to use these apps. That is a decision only you can make. The question is whether you are using them, or whether in some quiet and important sense, they are using you. The difference is intention, awareness, the small daily choice to pick up your phone because you decided to, rather than because something in your pocket decided for you. You were not born to be a unit of engagement. You were not put here to generate behavioral data for platforms that don't know your name. Your attention is the most finite and most precious resource you have. It deserves to be spent, not harvested. Next week, I'm going to take everything we've talked about in this series and bring it somewhere physical, your home. Specifically, I want to talk about one of the most powerful
powerful things you can do in a world engineered for distraction, and it costs nothing, requires no app, and takes about 10 minutes to set up. It's called a no-phone zone, and it might be the simplest structural change you can make to protect the life you actually want to be living. I'll see you then.